Cheonggyecheon in spring. You might have seen this place before, maybe on some Seoul travel video or a K-drama walking scene, or maybe on some drone shot of the city. Cheonggyecheon, it's in there somewhere. So I almost didn't film it. There's nothing I can show you that hasn't already been shown. The flowers, the water, the stepping stones, the bridges, it's all been done. But there's something here, There always is. And this is a quick walk along Cheonggyecheon during the spring bloom a few months ago, maybe a month ago, I think. The stretch near, Hanyang University, not the famous Gwanghwamun end, where you see all these news trucks coming in from time to time when they're reporting weather reports. This place is just, for every locals who lives around here. And it's just a regular afternoon and, regular people, regular spring, the version of this place that, locals are actually used to. Now, Cheonggyecheon runs about 11 kilometers across Seoul. Most people only see the first kilometer or two. The postcard section near the city center, the part with the lit up bridges and, some tourists, and sometimes you'll see some, lantern festival there, but not here, right? If you keep coming, if you keep going through Dongdaemun and past a station called Sindup, all the way toward the eastern edge of the city, the further you walk from downtown, the less touristy it becomes. The flowers are the same, the water is the same, the people change. Here, you see a lot more joggers, cyclists, parents with strollers, students from the university cutting through on the way home. Sometimes you see some office workers, walking around after lunch. And then you occasionally see these birds, who's a fisherman here. And spring brings his photographers out as well. Couples in this outfit, or couples taking photos of each other, kids being arranged by patient grandmothers. A whole industry of people trying to capture the same 5 flowers from a slightly different angle. And Cheonggyecheon has been part of Seoul for as long as Seoul has been. About 600 years, going back to founding of the past dynasty. Back then it wasn't quite the same, right? I mean, it was practical. It was actually more of a drainage system, regularly dredged by every king who took the throne just to keep the city from flooding. By the mid-20th century, it had become something else. After the Korean War, slums grew up along the banks. Street vendors, filled the surrounding streets. The conditions got bad enough that in 1958, the government started covering it up with concrete. And by 1976, there was a 5.6 kilometer elevated highway running directly above, where the stream used to be for about 30 years. And Cheonggyecheon didn't really exist. It was just a road. Then in 2003, they tore down the highway down, pulled up pavement, restored the stream. The whole project took just over 2 years and finished in 2005. It's why the section near Hanyang feels strange if you stop and think about it, because you're walking next to running water, ducks, and sometimes this white bird called pecknow, I forgot what it was called, standing perfectly still in the shallows. And 3 meters above your head, you see traffic, right? Cars and buses moving through the city while you watch, some fish. And it's a weird kind of greenery, right? I mean, it's not traditional, it's not super modern, it's kind of somewhere in between, right? It's engineered, it's pumped. And I think there's some uniqueness of this ununiqueness, I guess, right? The water that flows through Cheonggyecheon is natural. It's pumped in daily from Han River and from groundwater drawn out of subway stations along the route. And every centimeter of this place was designed by someone. right? The slope of the banks, the placement of the stepping stones, the species of flowers, planted along the path. And some critics still say it isn't really a restoration at all, just an expensive water feature dressed up as one. But people don't care, ducks don't care, fish don't care. And the kids running ahead of their parents, they don't care. The retired couple, sitting around the bench or walking around, they don't care. And I don't care either, because sometimes I take this route to go to my office. I sometimes take about an hour of bicycle ride. Now it's a place where people, enjoy their day. And, whatever it used to be, whatever's underneath, whatever's above it, it's a place where, people come to rest and chill, and I think that's unique enough. And maybe that's the thing about Seoul, right? So much of what feels permanent here was built on top of something else. But it's not super, it's not super concrete or flowery like you will see in some of the other, major cities. It's a mix of both. It's a mix of everything. And I think that's what makes Seoul a pretty interesting place to live. And Cheonggyecheon is just more honest about it than most places. If you like this walk, please subscribe and please press like. And let me know in the comments where I should go next. Maybe another stretch of Cheonggyecheon, a different neighborhood, or somewhere you've been wondering about. I'll be back. Thank you for watching.